Welcome to the Partially Cooked Podcast, Parker Willis. How you doing, man?
Welcome.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm half baked, so this works.
Hell yeah.
Excellent. That makes sense, knowing what you do. It's we're so excited to have you on. Parker is the producer of the Puff Puff Laugh Show in Joplin, Missouri.
Yeah, we just both wrote up and did that show. That's a freaking dope room, man.
Literally.
Yeah. Guilty as charged, man. It's a fun thing, and I've been to other ones, and how do I say it? I mean, as much as disorganization is with every single weed show, I feel like we've got something special there for sure. It's exciting to be a part of.
Yeah, definitely. For anybody watching this show for the first time, what this show is every month we bring on 5 comedians and we interview them, try to get to know some personal things about their life, and then at the end of the month, we use that personal information we gathered for a no-holds-barred roast battle. So Parker is going to be one of our comedians competing in that roast battle. And I guess we'll start off with questions about your stand-up career. Parker, how long have you been doing stand-up?
My first set was like 22 years ago.
No shit.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it's kind of, one of those weird trajectories. I did a lot of open mics where it was like mainly musicians, and I was the only comedian for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And then I kind of moved around the country and I put my toe in the water a little bit. And I just had this mindset that like I go to an open mic and I kill it. And I think, oh, these people just give me shows. And then I wouldn't go again for 3 or 4 months, and I'd be like, they must not like me. And then I just got to this last year and a half. I was like, I'm just going to go to every open mic night until they can't ignore me anymore.
That's a great way to start, man.
Right. You'll get good by default if you just keep doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no substitute for stage time. Stage time is what makes you great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's. You're right. There is no substitute.
All right. So in the past 22 years that you've been doing stand-up, wow, you may be the longest running vet we've had on the show. 22 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
In the past 22 years, what do you think the strangest gig you've ever taken has been?
It's hard to say, but there was this one really weird one last year. Conrad Linsmeyer. I don't know if you know him.
He's great.
Yeah, he said, hey, my friend's having this show. It's got to be an African cultural event. And they send me a link to the tickets. It's like $65 tickets. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's see. I shared it to see if anyone would show up. We showed up. It was like the 8 people putting on the event and like the 7 comedians that were on the show, which, doing comedy in front of 15 people is not that big a deal, except it was in a banquet hall set up for like 150 people, and everyone was set at the back of the room. So it's just you and 100 empty chairs, and then people like in the corners of the room. It was so awkward.
Oh, that is awkward, man. I'm sure the $65 ticket price had something to do with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I could see that for sure.
How long was your set?
I did 15 minutes. And I take it as like a feather in my hat because it was the most awkward 15 minutes I think I've ever had on stage. But I was determined to do the time. And I told myself, because I've walked off stage before, oh, this sucks, whatever, and left short of my time. And, these guys aren't, this crowd really isn't enjoying me. I'll just go ahead and go. That time I was like, I'm doing every second of this 15 minutes. And I did. And it felt good to do it, but it was super awkward.
Fuck yeah, man. That's the sign of a true professional where like, it doesn't matter if there's 100 people there or 2 people there. Like you got paid for a certain amount of time. You're going to do that amount of time. I respect the fuck out of that, man.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, it was a flex. It felt like.
Yeah, I believe it.
Felt good afterwards, but not during it.
Right. In that same vein, in the past 22 years, what do you feel like your worst bomb has been?
Whenever I was doing comedy at open mics with mainly musicians, I had 2 different times where I like more or less left the stage to try to fight a heckler.
Oh shit!
Wow.
So the heckler didn't approach the stage. You were like, "Fuck this! I'm going into the crowd."
Well, they just kept standing up, and I was like, you know what? Fuck you, man. And like put the mic up and came down, and people were like, no, man, no. And I was like, all right. And the other time if I would have had the balls, I would have fought him, but I more or less like walked right past him and went to the car and started bawling because I was like, "This is such a good set. I don't know why they wouldn't appreciate." But it was just a guy at a bar having drinks and didn't know there was going to be comedy and just started talking shit. And I probably gave him 3 comebacks before I was like, you know what? I don't fucking need this, and then left. Sorry, I'm cussing so much.
No, you're good. You can cuss as much as you want, man. What do you remember any of the heckles specifically? Like what they said to you?
Man, I can't remember specifically. I know I told the guy that I rebutted like 3 times. I told him, I don't bother you when you're out, enjoying your hobbies. Like I don't come to the alley and slap cab driver dicks out of your mouth. I remember
Nice.
Classic line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was one of my comebacks, but I can't really remember what they were saying other than just, you're not funny or stop looking at your phone. Before, this was 15, 18 years ago. Like, people really gave a crap if you looked at your phone or your notes. Now I see comedians all the time. I mean, I've seen headliners that we pay to do 45 minutes go over and go, "Oh, let me check my phone." But back then it was ruthless.
Well, I still feel like, especially if you're getting paid for a set, you should not have to have notes for that paid set. That's just my own personal opinion. Like, I feel like that's unprofessional, but especially in an open mic, like you're working new material, there's nothing wrong with having your notes there.
Agreed.
And also it surprises me because every time I've only been around you when we went up to the Puff Puff Laugh show, but you seem like a happy, jovial guy. I can't imagine you being like aggressive and going into the crowd to fight somebody.
I was a different person 20 years ago,
I believe that.
I understand.
All right. In the past 22 years, what do you think the lamest joke you've ever written has been?
There's been a lot of lame jokes, but I have a really lame premise that I love, and no crowd has ever enjoyed it. Yeah. I said, like my ex-girlfriend was a bulimic slut. She liked to swallow before she spit.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I probably got like 5 more tags to that. But I mean, that was the premise. And honestly, that's one of those jokes. Like if I'm in a room, like if I did that African thing again and I'm sitting there, that's one of the jokes I'm going to drop. You know what I mean? Just to like, if I'm going to be awkward up here, feeling awkward, I'm going to make y'all feel awkward too.
Hell yeah. Live by the sword, die by the sword. That's what you got to do, man.
Yeah.
And the last question that I have as far as stand-up goes, who do you think is, and this is a personal question and it only applies to you, who is the most influential comic to you?
I would say it was probably early on George Carlin, and then right whenever I started comedy, Mitch Hedberg.
Nice. Those are good answers.
Yes.
What about Carlin and Hedberg really spoke to you?
It's like Carlin's later stuff, like he was being funny. He was still talking about day-to-day stuff, but also he was throwing in like politics and like social ideas, you know what I mean? And kind of, saying like, we're all idiots and here's why. And the fact that he was doing that in a way that wasn't punching down, and it wasn't just like hitting hot buttons like some of these comedians do. You know what I mean? Like, someone got on stage last year and talked about Sleepy Joe for 5 minutes and never said any new material. It's like, no, George Carlin would have his own. It would be a different spin. And I liked that. I liked there was social commentary, but also still dick and fart jokes thrown in there,
A little something for everybody.
Yeah.
I love that. Parker, I'm going to ask you some questions about what you do outside of stand-up. So outside of comedy, what pays your bills?
My wife.
Great answer.
Very good.
My wife.
But,
she did.
I wait tables at a breakfast spot. So, and I did that on purpose. I was an IT recruiter for like 8 years. I made a lot more money. I was a lot more stressed, and I just didn't have the mental capacity to do what I love, which is comedy. So now my wife's she's in a good position. She makes good money. So I wait tables during the day, and then my nights are free to do comedy.
Excellent. What's the worst job you've ever been fired from or quit?
I mean, there's a lot. Like most of my jobs were bad, and most of them I got fired or quit. I was trying to think. I watched the previous episode that you guys shared, or the clip from the other guy, and I had an answer, but now I'm kind of spacing out on it.
How dare
I worked at CC's for 3 hours.
Oh, okay.
3 hours?
Yeah, like I showed up and I was a busboy, and at the end, they I asked, could you check me out? And then they're like, hey, you need to do these 5 things. And I was like, I'm not doing any of this, and just left. Like, I never even got paid. I paid taxes on it, and I never even got a paycheck from it. So,
holy shit.
How many times did you have to say welcome to CC's in that 3 hours?
Well, I was just a busboy, so I was just cleaning up greasy plates the whole time. It was so nasty. Like, I think I've maybe eaten at CC's twice in the last 25 years because of that experience.
What were the 5 tasks that you were like, I'm not fucking doing that?
Oh, I can guess.
I can bet it's cleaning the buffet.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Roll some silverware. Any silverware rolling? They don't really do that there, right? So it's probably polished silverware.
No, I think isn't it just a trough and you just shovel it in your mouth with your hand at CC's these days? I don't know. I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah, I don't even think they offer silverware there.
Yeah. But I don't know. It was like cleaning the busser station, cleaning out the bus tubs, and then cleaning the buffet. And every one of those things was just covered in pizza grease. And I was like, no, I think I threw away my clothes that I wore. That job was like, I'm not coming back. I'm done.
That's very fair. I haven't seen CC's in a while. I've seen CC's. It used to be one of my favorite spots. I haven't seen a CC's in probably years.
There's one here in Little Rock. Katie and I went to it a couple years ago, but we prefer Larry's Pizza to CC's.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Very fair. What's the biggest lie you've ever put on a resume?
I mean, probably just that I didn't get fired or rage quit every job I've ever had. I mean, just trying to cover. You just have that 1 month gap in between one job and the next job, and like, oh, what happened here? You're like, oh, I made more money. They offered me more money. I'm like, no, they didn't. I rage quit or got fired.
That's fair.
So,
what was like? Have you ever had one of those like, fuck you, and start throwing things? Or like, what's the biggest rage quit moment you've had leaving a job?
So, like, my classic one. Sorry, man, I'm getting over science fiction.
No, you're fine.
My classic one is I was working at Red Lobster, and I'd worked a double on a Sunday, and there was this Russian girl who was a student, and she comes up to the manager, and she was like, oh, you should cut me. And I was like, you just got here. If you're going to cut anyone, you should cut me. I've been here all day. And she goes, you don't even know how to clean your tables properly. She starts going off on me, and I'd already been told if I cussed at anyone else, I would be fired. And I just took a deep breath, and then I was like, this is the one. And I was like, you fucking bitch. And I just went off on her. Then I went over the computer. I transferred my tables to my buddy that was working. I printed my check out. I counted my money, and I went to the office, and I set my money on. And the manager's like, we need to talk. I'm like, we don't need to talk. I'm like, I know what just happened. And she's like, oh, she didn't even count my money. She just locked the office door. And she followed me one step behind me all the way to the front door. We walked through my section. This guy's like, hey, Parker, buddy, I need to get something. I go, you can ask my manager. She's right here. And she's like, how do I put it? She was ghetto white girl with like knuckle tattoos and like eye drop, but somehow was a manager at a restaurant at that point in time. And she was like, sir, I'm handling something right now. And I was like, oh, rude to the customer. I get to the front door. There's probably 7 people in the lobby. And she's standing at the host stand, like hand on hip, like head cocked to the side, just staring me down. And like I said, there's about 5 to 7 people in the lobby. I grabbed my shirt, which it was back whenever Red Lobster had fish all over their shirt. I rip it, like buttons go flying off. I go over, I pull the cord on the lobster tank, and I throw my shirt in the lobster tank and drop it, and then walk out.
Fuck yes.
And,
that's a great answer.
Oh my God.
yeah, like, dude, I probably went back to Red Lobster like 10 years later, and someone was still working there, and they're like, hey, the dishwasher still talks about you? And I was like, really? Dude goes to the back, tells the dishwasher I'm there. You see him pop his head out, and he's like talking to a busboy. He's like, that's the guy. That's the one I've been telling you about. Like, I think the legend still continues of that Red Lobster.
Fuck yeah, they got to put a lock on the lobster tank from now on just to keep people from throwing things in there.
They should really put like an homage and put like a ceramic shirt in the fish tank, in the lobster tank, like as a memorial to you. I thought you were going to say right there 10 years later and the shirt was still there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you worked in a lot of restaurants, obviously. So what's the juiciest rumor you've ever heard at work? This has to be good. There's got to be a good one there.
Man, I was trying to think of that earlier. It just so many things that happen in restaurants. It's like hard to pinpoint. I mean, at my current job, we've been telling all the new people that one of our dishwashers has trench foot, when in fact he does not. He just has a bad knee. And so, so that's not a real, we are purposely spreading a false rumor.
That's fair, though. It's still fun and hilarious. Okay, last question about your job. What's the most ridiculous thing a boss has ever asked you to do? And you can include CC's on that one.
Yeah, man. Man, it seems like all jobs have ridiculous parts to them. You know what I'm saying? Right. I did. It wasn't ridiculous, but one time I had a manager tell me I had to drain all the water out of the coffee thing,
the hot water spout.
Yeah. So I was standing there for like 20 minutes with this hot water spout in a bucket, and then I'd go dump it, and I'd come back, and finally someone's like, do you not know, dude? And I'm just like, no, what? That I had a manager do that to me one time. I had another manager told me I had to mop the walk-in freezer at McDonald's, but then they told me the mop has to be barely wet because if you get it too wet in there, it'll ice over. And if you ever take something barely damp into a frozen place, your mop just keeps sticking to the floor. And that also was probably a 15 or 20 minute before someone was like, hey, bro, that's not a thing.
Dude, emptying the hot water is such a classic restaurant prank, dude. I'm so glad that they did it to you. Cracker Barrel did it to me, too. But
I don't know. What is the I haven't worked in a restaurant like that. What's the
100% of the time, if there's ever a hot water spigot, it's connected to a ongoing faucet. It's like a sink. So you're just it's like someone tell you to empty the sink.
Oh, and so it's just filling up as you're emptying.
You're bucket after bucket.
That's great.
It's classic, dude. I'm so glad. You must have been pretty young when that happened.
Oh, yeah. That might have been my second serving job ever, I think. First or second. I think it was actually Red Hot and Blue that they did that. That was the first place they let me serve tables. So
I love that it was a manager that was hazing you, too. It wasn't like a fellow coworker. It was the manager that's like, hey, go do this ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. I got some questions about your age and wisdom. How old are you, Parker?
43.
43. Okay, this is perfect. So, what do you think the dumbest thing you did in your 20s was?
Man, I think whenever they called me up to go to Iraq, smoking all of that weed in my hotel room and then getting kicked out of the military sequentially, probably pretty stupid.
Were you trying to not go to Iraq? Was that the purpose? Or were you just like, fuck it, I'm getting stoned before I got to go to war?
I was getting stoned before I got to go to war, dude. Yeah. We were, those hotels that we shared a door with a sergeant. But we even we went in the bathroom, we put the towels against the door cracks. We had the exhaust fan on and we're blowing it straight into and we thought oh, dude, we're fine. No one's going to know. And dude, he called on us, had everyone piss tested. There were 7 of us in the room, and only 2 of us failed the piss test the following day. So, But yeah,
Damn, man.
that was pretty stupid.
I always thought that was dumb. When I was in the Army, they also, I mean, we had piss tests and stuff, and you weren't allowed to smoke. And I just thought that was fucking ridiculous. Like, you want your warfighters to be hard. And if they drink a little bit, if they smoke a little bit, off the clock, off duty, like, what is the problem? What is the issue with that?
Right. That's how I feel.
Yeah,
for sure.
In the military, we should be like a lawyer. You know what I mean? If you can't afford it, it'll be provided for you. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should come in our MRE rations. Just like a little eighth.
Yes,
Yeah.
have like a eighth or a joint or something in every MRE. That way you can just like take a little load off.
If you're having to eat that stroganoff shit cold, you need a joint, man.
No shit, man. No shit. What was your MOS, by the way?
92 Alpha.
What is 92 Alpha?
Supplies logistics. I worked in warehouses.
Okay.
So the guys that were getting called up with me, it was right at the end of the first year of Iraq. And the second time we went to Iraq, it was like, 2002-ish, 2003. Mm-hmm. And so they show up, and like all of the like grunts were going home because they had hit their full year. And so my buddy and one of his battle buddies show up, and they're like, "Hey, we don't have any like military police or any Marines or anything. You guys are doing perimeter guard for Camp Anaconda." So you walk a mile out from the camp, and then you just walk a loop around the camp all night long until the sun comes up, and then your duty's over. And my buddy said it was like probably 2 or 3 months until a second wave of NPs showed up. He said he didn't have any tags on, like he hasn't shaved in like 2 weeks. He's out there. They got fired on, and neither one of my buddies like got behind anything. They just started like popping off until the light stopped blinking on the other end. Mm-hmm. The other two guys were like military police, fresh out of basic. They're like getting behind and trying to be all strategic, and they go, "Look at you guys. You got no name tags. You got no signias. What are you?" And they're like, 92 Alpha, supplies, logistics, and then just walked off.
Oh, that's probably the most badass supply story I've ever heard. That's great.
Yeah. So in my mind, anytime someone asks me what my MOS was, I try to come with that same energy, 92 Alpha.
Fuck yeah. You're damn right I'm 92 Alpha.
You're damn right.
I gotta go get a pallet jack.
Right. Let me drive this forklift real quick.
All right, so the last question I have, and this to me relates to age, and this could happen at any age, but what do you think the dumbest purchase you've ever made has been?
It was like a 94 Ford Tempo. I bought it from a guy that I worked with. He sold it to me for $200. I was like, I'm gonna have a car. Dude, I showed up on my way to my house, which was like maybe 3 mile drive. I get a flat. So I put the donut on, mm-hmm. right? So I keep going. I get a second flat and
a different tire.
A different tire. And I'm just like at this intersection in Joplin, like the stoplight is green, and my buddy's behind me because he gave me the ride to get the car, and I'm just like beating the crap out of the steering wheel. And I left the car there. And I never went back for it. I never changed the title over. I spent $200. I got 2 flat tires. And I was like, I give up. And I just left it at a stoplight.
I mean, that's fair. If you only got $200 in it and you can't even get it 2 miles down the road, you're like, you know what? Fuck this.
Yeah. I was like, you got me on this one, Jeff.
Was it a buddy that sold it to you?
Yeah, a guy that I worked with.
Oh,
yeah.
I would be pissed. I'd be like, hey, man, fuck you.
I mean, I think it was even one of those scenarios where they were going to get a new car. And I'm like, what are you doing with your car? And he was like, you don't really want it. And I was like, dude, come on. I need a car. And he was like, all right, $200. And then and I'm like, okay, cool. And then he kind of like, whenever it stopped, he was like, yeah, dude, I kind of told you.
Yeah. Anytime you buy a beater for less than $500, you're rolling the dice.
Right.
Yeah, you are.
All right, Parker. We're going to move into politics here. This is I think both of our favorite category here.
Absolutely.
So what is your most bigoted opinion?
Most bigoted opinion. I think my most bigoted joke that I've done on stage was I'll say something, like semi whatever on the line, and people laugh, and I'll say, you guys laughed at that joke faster than fat girls give black guys their car keys.
That's a funny joke.
And I think that's probably one of the most bigoted things I've said on stage. I'm trying to think of anything bigoted. I think I don't know. I grew up getting picked on, and so I always like kind of have the little guy. I'm always trying to think how does this affect the little person or whatever. So I don't get too big. I'll make comments about about races, but I try to, make it something that's universal about it, not like not picking on anyone. So that was a hard one for me just because I kind of have gotten away from that mindset for a long time.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. And the question is more like we ask that for a funny response because we expect the people that we book on the show to not really be bigoted. Like, we're not trying to go out and find bigoted people to be on our show. But I just
feel... it's not Kill Tony.
Right. It's definitely not Kill Tony.
But everyone's got something.
Everyone's got like a little, like a stereotype that especially like they're in traffic or they're like there's something that's pissing you like, fuck you. Like...
So yours is...
I mean, there's this scientific thing that I found out, and it's that for every 40 pounds a man has on his body, he loses a half inch of penis. And for every 40 pounds a woman gains on her body, she adds a half inch vagina, which is just science why skinny black dudes are always fucking fat white girls. Just because they're the only ones that match up. She's got more, he's got more.
It's just math at that point.
Yeah,
it's math. It's not me. It's science.
Speaking of science, and maybe the lack of science, are there any conspiracy theories that you believe in?
I mean, I'm pretty sure the CIA has killed every significant figure in the last 60 years that's died. Like MLK, Jim Morrison, Mac Miller. I'm pretty sure all of them were killed by the CIA. I mean,
that's
not
fair.
Really. But if I found out, I would not be real surprised at all. I'd be like, oh, yeah, no, that checks out.
Yeah, that doesn't even sound like conspiracy. That just sounds like truth.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree with that.
I like to tell people, though, like, I know birds are real, but I guarantee they work for the fucking government,
Right. At least a percentage of them are spies. 100%. I believe that. I agree with that.
I mean, how often do you see cameras up high? You don't ever see cameras up high, but you see birds fly over all the freaking time. So where are all these above images coming from, right? Yeah, I mean, satellites are way the hell out there. I think it's the birds. I think the birds are recording us.
When somebody gets deep on the birds aren't real conspiracy, it always like gets under my skin because I've shot enough birds and cleaned them to know that there's no cameras or wires or anything in there. It's just bird.
You're just getting lucky, man.
Yeah, the ones that fly low enough for you to shoot aren't the ones working for.
That's right. See, you're thinking with your big noggin there.
Yeah.
All right. So no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, left or right, what would a candidate on the other side have to promise to get you to vote for them?
I mean, honestly, it'd have to be something that would be completely uncharacteristic of them. Like I would need like a, like universal health care or someone who said they would actually focus on the environment and really like start working on renewable energy. Like if a Republican candidate came out those other candidates came out next week and it was like we're going to start cleaning this up and get our national parks back and clean these coasts. I'll be like, okay, I could see that.
Right. That's fair. That's fair. You love the earth. That's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My name's Parker. In English, it means park ranger. So I feel somewhat of a duty.
Yeah, that's where the mustache came in, is because your name is literally Park Ranger.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you were running for office. What's a promise you would make to maybe ensure your own election?
I mean, I don't think I'd have to make the promise. You guys already know I would try to legalize marijuana immediately, so I wouldn't even mention that one. I wouldn't even mention it. You guys know that's already in the back pocket. Fucking free school lunches.
Nice.
I mean,
Nice.
honestly, I think it's such a thing that like no one's against it. No one's like, oh man, these kids should have to pay. Like, no one's against it. It's all backdoor stuff, keeping kids from getting lunches. So if someone came out and was like, you're across the board, every kid in school gets free school lunch, I think that'd be a pretty strong statement.
Yeah, I do too. And also, like, they're at a place where, as a society, we are forcing them to go. We are punishing parents if they don't send their kids to this institution. The least you can do is fucking feed them while they're there.
Yeah. Well, and I had free school lunch as a kid and felt embarrassed about it, about going to get it. But if everyone had free school lunch, then there would be no discrimination between the rich kid who gets it and the poor kid who gets it. We're all on that same checklist.
Get rid of the stigma, you know.
Get rid of the stigma of it. Yeah.
We're all poor at this point.
We're in public school. We're all poor.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
Last political question here. If you could heckle any politician from history, who would it be, and what would you say to him?
Man.
It's a deep one.
Yeah, it is. It is, because it's like I want to heckle every one of them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And a good
Like,
heckle could change history. You know?
yeah, exactly. Like I would have hit George Bush with that shoe. I would have made contact. You know, you had two chances, and you missed both. I think I would have made contact.
He's a dodgy guy, dude. I think he's a little too wiry. I think those shots were on point. Bush fucking neo'd that shit, dude.
That makes sense. I don't know. Probably go back and heckle. Was it George Wallace's vice president? And that's the reason why he lost to Nixon, which really started the crumble of our country, was with Nixon. And I think it was George Wallace, if I'm not mistaken. He had a vice presidential bid, and they found out he had been in a mental institution and been on drug before. And I probably would have been early on like, get rid of the moron right away. And maybe he would have got a different vice president, maybe change the course of history at that point in time.
Yeah, that was about the breaking.
Or just go back and just heckle Hitler about his mustache. Be like, only pussies cut it right at the lip. You know, like Hitler had the weirdest mustache. I mean, people are like, oh, I want that mustache. I'm like, it looked weird on him. It looked weird on Chaplin. It's always going to look weird. I mean, yeah, he did some crazy shit, and there's a lot you could say there. But at the same time, if I just stood third, fourth row and just heckled him about his shitty mustache the whole time, I feel like I'd throw him off a little bit.
Oh, and maybe everyone would be like, oh, this guy's not that cool. We shouldn't vote for him. The Nazi Party never comes into power in Germany. Maybe you alter history for the better.
Yeah, exactly. Go back to painting, you silly bitch, or whatever.
Oh, that's great. All right, so we're going to move on into dating and relationships. And I know earlier you mentioned your wife. How long have you been married?
I think it'll be 8 years this year.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
And then we're getting... Thank you. And I think in October, it'll be our 14th bangiversary.
14th bangiversary. I love that.
God.
Yeah. Because it's like you get with someone, she becomes your girlfriend, you break up, you get back together. I don't remember all these fucking dates, but I do know the first time we had it out, and I'll always remember that date. And so that we called our bangiversary.
Nice. So you banged 14 years ago, and then 6 years later, you took the whole 6 years. You were like, you know what? I need to put a ring on this one.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's great. All right, so
we were really drunk, and she baby birded Hardee's curly fry into my mouth, and that's whenever I was like, I need to get money for a ring.
Hot. Hell, that's wife material right there.
Yeah, exactly. What am I waiting around for, man?
Right.
Baby bird.
What is the most regrettable message you've ever sent to someone? In like a dating context.
Dude, that's hard, man. I have like some sort of personality disorder, borderline personality disorder. So I have said a lot of horrible shit to a lot of people. I think the most regretful message I've ever sent is, hey, we should get back together.
Very.
Yeah, a lot of dudes have felt the pain of making that mistake.
Yeah. So I feel like that's probably the most regrettable, because I've definitely called girls a lot of horrible things and mentioned horrible things. And really, it's like, man, there's a couple that I should have just cut short and stopped getting back together. Probably would have got along with my life a lot quicker.
Fuck yeah. All right. What is the worst gift that you've ever given to a significant other?
Man, that was one I was trying to come up with. I either like hit a home run with my gifts or fucking forget. You know what I mean? Like, either just like crush it, like, oh my God, I mentioned this 6 months ago, I can't believe you remembered the whole time, or like, I can't believe you forgot my birthday again. There's no in between with me. So that one's a difficult one for me. I wrote some really corny poems back in the day, but in all honesty, like, you got me some. I mean, it was a horrible gift, but like, it worked.
Hey, sometimes a cheesy poem is the secret answer. It's that secret sauce.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, I got my wife at the beginning of our relationship. I bought a necklace from my ex-girlfriend because she made the necklace with like hemp, and then I gave it to my wife, and she still has the necklace. But looking back, I was like, oh, that was a ballsy move. That really could have backfired.
Does your wife know the necklace came from an ex-girlfriend?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, at least you didn't hide that.
Yeah. And then also looking back, like, you didn't have a problem. I was running across my ex-girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, purchasing things. I should have been avoiding that chick altogether. But yeah, that was probably a pretty ballsy one.
Nice. All right. What's the most awkward rejection you've ever faced?
Ooh. I don't know, man. I asked a girl to a dance in high school, and she said no. And then I don't think I've ever asked a girl out since then.
Nice.
In high school? So so has every relationship been since then the woman's asked you out?
A lot of those, and a lot of like, we get drunk together, things happen, and then I'm like, oh, I guess we're dating now.
Ah, okay.
Whoa.
So not a whole lot of like, hey, you want to go to dinner with me? More so like, hey, like, we've been fucking for 6 weeks. I feel like we should put a label on this.
Okay. Kind of Jedi mind trick them, like you're already fucking at that point. So it's like, hey, do you like me? You want to go on a date?
The Jedi don't fuck, Bear. Stop it.
Yeah.
If I was a Jedi.
Yeah. And a lot of those conversations are more like, hey, I saw you were talking to Cliff the other day, and I feel like we should be together, so you stop talking to other dudes.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. My last question, as far as dating and relationships goes, is what is the biggest red flag you've ignored with someone you're interested in?
Biggest red flag. Can you tell I got about 35 minutes into that episode, and that's the only episode I've seen, so I'm going to run out of questions.
You're good, man. We
remember.
actually just revamped all our questions.
Right. That last episode you watched, we kind of revamped our questions to kind of freshen it up a little bit. So a lot of these, even if you had watched earlier episodes, you wouldn't know that these questions were coming.
Yeah. Biggest red flags. I mean, looking back, like, how many girls I've dated one girl, and then her best friend hated me, and then me and that girl broke up, and 2 years later I dated the best friend. And looking back, I should be like, she fucking hated me for 4 years.
Yeah.
Is this like some sort of revenge fuck where she's just getting with me to piss off her old best friend? And I didn't it never really registered. But now that I think back, I mean, that should have been huge red flag.
Yeah, that is a big red flag.
Right.
That's great, man. So what happened when, like, because initially she hated you, and then eventually she at least hate fucked you. So like, what happened there? What caused her to at least change her mind for a little bit?
I mean, I made her laugh, dude.
That is.
Boom, there it is.
I made her laugh at open mic nights, and yeah, it was even one of those scenarios where, like, I was supposed to hook up with one of her, I thought, who knows, but I was supposed to meet one of her other friends at the open mic night, and then she showed up, and then the friend bailed, and the next thing I know, we're hanging out all night, and I made her laugh, and then I literally made her laugh right out of her pants, man. I mean, I've probably done that. I've probably had girls laughing while taking off their clothes, like for the first time we had sex, like 4 or 5 times in my life. You know what I mean? Like literally done that. And that was one of them where it was just like, I thought you hated me. And then next thing you know, like we're back in the spare bedroom of my dad's house.
I'm going to add a question to this relationship thing. What would your wife say is your biggest red flag?
Ooh, that's hard because both of her parents told her flat out, do not get with that dude. Do not date him. Don't hang out with him. And then now I've learned that neither one of those people's opinions matter. But the fact that both of her parents like pleaded with her not to even date me at all.
Was there any reason?
And the fact that I like was real shitty to her, like the first 2 times I met her, like I was real shitty to her. And then one night her and her friend came in, I made them laugh all night. And literally, you know, the thing I said 3 minutes ago.
Well, that's
just
fair.
Laugh your way in there.
Okay. Yeah, I did. They came into the restaurant I was at, and I served them, and I made them laugh all night. And then we were like, oh, let's go to this bar afterwards. And a whole group went over there. Both of them went. And apparently she went back to her friend's house and shaved her legs in the sink. And I texted her and was like, hey, I was like, you stayed sober all night to be your friend's DD. That's at least a bowl worth. You should come over. And then she came over to my house, smoked a bowl. And then I looked at my roommate and I looked at her and I go, hey, that thing you were looking for, it's in there. And then just walked into my bedroom and she just followed me in there. And then we have a kid now.
Smooth. So smooth. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That thing you're looking for, it's in there. It's my penis.
It's my dick.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, speaking of your family, now that she is your family now, what do you think is the most embarrassing thing that your parents have ever caught you doing?
My mom caught me fucking in her living room. Side note, I didn't live there at the time. We were like living in Neosho with the girl's dad, and we were in Joplin, and we were just like, one of us was getting ready to go to work and the other one just got off work, and we had about 30 minutes to kill. I was like, hey, let's go to my mom's house. And we were like in the living room, butt naked, like doggy style. I had her bent over the couch, and my mom just opened the door, and we were just like, oh shit, I thought she wasn't supposed to be home till 5. So that was pretty embarrassing, like, because we weren't even supposed to be there. There's that.
That's fair. I could not imagine that. I would not.
Yeah, I would hate that. That would suck.
Boner went back inside me, like it just. Oh man.
Yeah.
What's the biggest secret you ever kept from your parents?
Ooh, just dudes, man, just banging dudes. No,
that's fair.
You know, honestly, I just think it's so I could do gay jokes now. You know what I mean? I was like, what's the minimum? 2 dicks? I got that. I can tell gay jokes now. Right. Not anymore. I did my toe in the water. I'm done. No. I mean, the truth. And also, I don't think I told either one of my parents that. I think I've kept that from them. So that's probably really, really high on the list. Yeah. So, yeah.
A little bit of experimentation.
Wait, so you have experimented with the same sex? In the bed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes. The roast battle has commenced. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal, man.
Yeah. This should give them some material.
That's a great answer.
But yeah.
This is a reward for them watching the whole podcast episode. Like this right here.
I can't remember the comedian that said it, but he said, if someone told you they hated bacon cheeseburgers and you go, really, what was it about eating bacon cheeseburgers that made you hate it? And they go, oh, I've never eaten a bacon cheeseburger. And you're like, well, how do you know you fucking hate it? Well, listen, I tried bacon cheeseburgers. I am more of a chicken guy.
Fair enough.
All right. Last question about your family. Who's the relative that you avoid the most and why?
Oh, man, it's like half of my wife's family. They They are crazy.
Fair.
But my family, man, I don't really avoid anyone. I avoided my dad for a long time, but now he's dead, so like I don't have to do that anymore.
Now he's always with you.
yeah. Now he's always watching. So yeah, he'd be high on the list. I don't really avoid anyone else. I'm one of those, like, my wife's like, "Hey, when's the last time you talked to your mom?" I'm like, "You remember the last time she was at our house?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That time," you know. But it helps that she comes to my show every week. I mean, I think you guys probably met my mom at Puff Puff Laugh.
I think so. Yeah.
Probably did.
Yeah, probably the oldest, highest old lady in there was my mom.
So you never had to hide that you smoked weed from him?
Do what?
You never had to hide smoking weed from your mom?
No, dude. I gave up weed for like 6 months, and then I was in college and had to sleep on my mom's couch my first semester of college, and she used to wake me up, like, not to smoke, because just her and her friends were just getting high on the couch next to where I was sleeping. And I'm like, well, fuck it. I sleep on my mom's couch. I'll just hit this joint. And that got me back into smoking weed again. I probably would have got back into it anyways. But honestly, like, my mom got me back into smoking weed.
Nothing will wake you up like a bong just bubbling over in the corner. Just
Dude, my black friends in high school called her the Cron because, my house was one of those ones where, like, we could all go crash at my house after parties. Like, my mom never cared what time we came in. Half the time she was out, playing pool or hanging out with her friends. So she didn't give a shit at all. And I went to church with one of my friends, but I left like 3 guys passed out in my room. And one of them gets up because he hears something in the living room and walks in there. It's like 7:30 in the morning. And he comes back in. He was like, "Hey, Ryan, you got to give me a ride home." And he's like, "Why, man? I'm trying to sleep." And he was like, "Dude, Parker's mom is smoking so much weed in the living room. She's putting in the ghetto to shame." And she started getting called the Cron. And even, like, did you guys have one of those banners that you signed your senior year?
Mm-hmm.
If you find my senior banner, the Cron signed the Cron on my senior banner.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like, that's how much my mom, like, there are people that as teenagers, the first time they smoked weed was my mom's weed. Now, it wasn't with her. I had just stolen it, but
the Cron's Cron.
Yeah.
Nice, dude.
All right, Parker, we're going to move into some personal questions here. What are you the biggest fan of? Like, if there's anything out there, whether it's music, anime, a movie, what are you, like, a diehard fan of?
Man, I get really stuck on things. Like, I love music. I listen to all different kinds of music. Like, I love movies. Like, I watch all kinds of movies. I've watched, like, almost 300 Christmas movies in the last 4 years.
Oh, shit.
Like, it's insane. Like, how many, just because I thought of, like, how I thought, you hear about a lot of people's holidays, like, oh, it's, always watching this Christmas movie with my dad or mom or grandparents or whatever. And I thought, when my wife was pregnant, I thought, what Christmas movies are we going to watch? So I just started watching Christmas movies, and now I've got a list on my phone in alphabetical order of every Christmas movie I watched in the last 5 years and what their ratings are. And I've even got like a list at the top that are all my 10s and 11s. I got 111. It's Miracle on 34th Street, the remake from the 90s. I think that's the greatest Christmas movie.
Is that the one with the shoes? Is that the one where, like, somebody's mom dies or something and they got the shoes in the window? Is that movie?
No, I think that's the, like, Christmas Shoes. It has Rob Lowe in it.
I don't remember. I remember we watched it in, like, 7th grade in class, and I cried, and I got made fun of for crying. And I was like, his mom's dead. Like, oh, of course that's sad.
No, the Miracle on 34th Street is a Santa Claus for a department store. Mm-hmm. And he fills in for another shitty Santa Claus, and then the whole movie you're trying to figure out whether or not he's the real Santa Claus, the real Santa Claus. And then things happen to where he goes on trial, and they're trying to put him in a mental institution because he acts like and is not denying that his name is Santa Claus. Like his name is Kris Kringle, like that's his real name and everything. And it's just, there's so many like magic moments about that movie, but that he like doesn't really do real magic, you know what I mean? Where like sometimes, you know, you're like, oh, I wonder if that's Santa Claus, and then they leave and the bicycle that you wanted the whole time but your mom couldn't afford is there. No, he doesn't do anything outlandish and magical. He just is this solid character through the whole movie, and you're like, if there was a Santa Claus, I could see him being just like that. And
Gotcha.
I don't know. I just rank it really high that there's Christmas spirit to it. It's good to watch. And I think the last time I watched it, I counted and I cried like 8 or 9 times. Not like full on sobbing, but just like, you know, you tear up and you're like, okay, that's one. That counts, you know?
Yeah.
I feel it. That's hilarious.
That is hilarious. All right, moving on. What do you think your guilty pleasure is? Like something that may not be good for you, but God, do you love it?
Jerking off to Christmas movies.
You're telling me. Wait, no, you're.
It made my dick cry.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, other than weed, yeah, I mean, I probably masturbate more than a 43-year-old should. I know that. I mean, I just told you, I watched too many Christmas movies. Like, I've got a lot of things. I'm really passionate about hating Michael Jackson.
You hate Michael Jackson?
Yes. Like, shit happened to me in my childhood. Mm-hmm. And those kids, like, now that they're adults and I've seen those documentaries, I'm like, I feel exactly what that dude's saying. Like, I know where he's at, and I understand when it's like, it feels like you felt guilty about it the whole time and like it was your fault that it happened. And then now that you're an adult, you're coming to grips with that was a horrible adult that did that shit to me. I would never do that to a child, and I despise anyone that would. And I just have a hatred for Michael Jackson. And then just you get on TikTok or whatever, and it's just this like 5-year-old moonwalking to a Michael Jackson song. I'm like, you guys got to stop feeding these little kids. Like, I have to feel guilty about listening to the remix to Ignition. Meanwhile, Michael Jackson can be on every 15th freaking TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Like,
all right. So it wasn't the music that you hated; it was more of the kid fucking. That's really what.
Yeah, it's definitely the kid fucking.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's totally fair.
Musical genius. I wish I could enjoy it, but anytime I hear his music, it just takes me back to the feelings of anger about stuff that happened, and the fact that you trusted someone who did horrible things, and I just can't enjoy his music for that reason, except for Thriller.
Except for Thriller. Thriller gets a pass.
It's not that you don't enjoy it. You enjoy. It's your guilty pleasure, so you enjoy hating it.
Oh yeah, dude. Like, I've gotten to where I don't say a lot about politics anymore, but there's like some Facebook groups that I'm in that's like 80s and 90s nostalgia. And people are like, all right, there's these 4 artists. Who would you go away with? And you get rid of all. And I'm like, Michael Jackson, he's a fucking pedo. And then everyone just bombs on me. I'm like, I'll reply to every comment. I'm like, you guys want videos? I'm going to show you videos of him getting married to a 13-year-old boy. You ready? You guys are okay with this? You watch the interviews. He's got multiple interviews where he just says shit, and you're like, at what point in time do you back up the train, brother? He's just like, oh yeah, adult men could sleep with little boys. I'm like, sorry, dude, my wife's home, so
yeah, it's okay.
No, you're fine.
We're coming.
But I try to put in perspective. If one of your adult friends said that some 13-year-old boy slept in his bed with him, dude, you would call the police today.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I can't let it slide. And
friends don't let friends sleep with little boys.
Yeah. And I will comment on every video that I see that's like, hey, stop doing this. Fuck you guys.
What do you think the pettiest thing you've ever done to get revenge on someone is?
Man, I don't know, probably cheating on someone I knew cheated on me. That's probably a pretty petty thing.
That's pretty fair.
Yeah, I'd say that's high on the list.
Yeah.
You know.
So instead of breaking up with them, you're like, no, I got to get even. I'm about to fuck your sister or something.
Yeah, I fucked her best friend while she was in Nashville, and I moved back from Germany, and I was like, hey, I'm back to Missouri. You should come back to Missouri. She's like, I'm having fun with my friends out here. I don't know when I'm coming back. And then I fucked her best friend. So I was pretty petty.
Yeah, that definitely counts. Parker, what is your most irrational fear? You got any phobias? Anything you're really, really scared of?
I actually have a couple if I think of them. I mean, it's not really irrational. I just, I'll get high and my wife and daughter will be in bed and I'll be eating too much trail mix at one time and then start to choke. I'm like, God, this is how I go out. Just eating trail mix and watching National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation yet again.
That's a great answer.
Is that your favorite comedy Christmas movie?
No.
Dude, I could have a whole podcast with you about Christmas movies, honestly. I would love to. I want to know what you think is the sexiest Christmas movie.
Ooh, Santa Baby? No.
Whoa. Is it Baby Santa Claus?
No, it's Jenny McCarthy is in it.
Yes.
And she's pretty hot at that time, if I remember correctly.
Right.
They start to blur, man. They start to blur.
I imagine 300 plus Christmas movies.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the question?
Fear. You said you choke. The fear of choking.
Yeah. And also whenever I'm at the supermarket and you're trying to get the bag open to put apples or broccoli in, for some reason, whenever it's really dry and you're having a hard time with it, I just expect to get murdered. I expect that I'm paying too much attention to this plastic bag that someone's going to walk up behind me and murder me. And I don't know why, but every time I'm like, does that make sense? That
is the perfect answer to that question. It's irrational. It's a fear. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. But in the back of my mind, it's not 0% chance.
God, I would make a day trip to Joplin just to follow you to Kroger, tackle you when you're messing with one of those. That would be one of the best days of my life.
All right, so I've got one final question for you before we wrap this up. As far as the personal questions go, if you could erase one photo of yourself from the internet, which photo would it be, and how would we find it?
Okay. I don't know about photos on the internet, but I got really drunk at a graduation party. The year that I graduated. It wasn't even my school. I was hanging out at someone else's graduation party, and I got so drunk that I passed out on this couch, and someone handed me a tampon, and I lit it like a blunt. And there was a picture of me going around trying to smoke a tampon like a blunt. And I would say if I could delete one, I would find that and burn it.
Oh, that's wonderful, man! If you could somehow get us that picture,
that's
before this roast battle, that would be phenomenal.
When you make your comedy album, you should recreate that picture
for sure.
That's the album.
And I'm lighting the string too. I'm not even
it's like a firecracker.
Yeah, like a thing of TNT or something.
Oh wow, that's great.
Parker, what is your social media handle for any of our listeners that would like to follow you? Where can they find you?
It's Gonzo Parker 2. And yeah, I was huge on Hunter S. Thompson. I still love Hunter S. Thompson. Seth, you've probably heard of him. But yeah, Gonzo Parker 2. And that's not even because someone else beat me to Gonzo Parker 1. I got in an argument at the beginning of the first Trump administration online, and I got deleted off Facebook for a year, and my Instagram got banned for life. and Instagram wouldn't let me back on for almost 3 years. And because I still had the same phone number, and whenever I finally got back on there, they wouldn't let me have Gonzo Parker. So that's my dead name.
Okay.
So Gonzo Parker 2.
Gonzo Parker 2.
Wonderful.
Gonzo Parker is a memorandum, a memorial to your previous self.
Yeah.
Nice.
Rest in peace to old Parker and HST.
Parker, what shows do you have coming up that you want to hype up? You know, we got the roast battle May 1st in a few weeks. What else you got coming up?
Oh, I mean, every Saturday I've got that Puff Puff Laugh in Joplin. A great show to come. I mean, we have people traveling from all over to come to that show.
If you're in the Missouri area, make it to Joplin to check out that show. It's the only show I've ever been to where you smoke weed inside the venue, but if you want to drink, you have to sneak out to the parking lot. It's a fantastic show.
Right.
Yeah. So I've got that, and then I'm getting ready to do this sweet float this weekend, which I guess by the time you'll be at. Oh yeah, you are. Yeah, we'll be at Sweet Float together.
What is Sweet Float?
That'll be fun.
It's a festival. It's like a weed festival up in Northwest Arkansas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's interesting. The shows are going to be the comedy show portion is going to be at like 2 p.m. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I think it'll be fun. It'll be a good hang. I'm excited.
Normally, I would be upset that it's going to probably rain the weekend that I'm at a music festival, but then we're going to be inside during the day doing comedy. I'm like, we might get a better crowd.
Yeah. Nice. So, that's a great like glass half full perspective. I love that, Parker.
Oh yeah. You gotta think about the angle, man.
Nice.
Well, thank you so much, Parker, for taking some time to do this podcast with us. We really look forward to seeing your roast battle on May 1st.
Dude, I'm excited to go to it. I need to get material on anyone other than Cepeda.
Yeah, Cepeda is our current
Joplin.
Yeah, he's our current reigning champion, so everybody's going to be gunning for him on this one.
Yeah, well, and he was my headliner on Saturday.
Gotcha.
So that's the first time I ever met him.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so already I've started making some notes, and I'm like, I need to know these other guys, because then I'll show up with the notes, and then I might not even make it to the round to go against him.
Right.
Oh yeah, preparation leads to success, and of course you can always hit up Lucas Aaron Smith. He'll help you write out some great roast battles, dude. Like any comic. If you're struggling with material or you have a special show coming up, hit up Lucas. He runs writing sessions.
Have you guys had Victor Duran on?
No, I don't even know who Victor Duran is.
Victor Duran and Marco Antonio are probably the 2 best roast comics in Northwest Arkansas.
Right. Okay, so, I'll definitely be.
I mean, they're not just roast comics, but those guys are probably the 2 heaviest hitters in NWA.
Nice. I like Marco a lot. I like to play the Marco drinking game. Have you ever played that? You take a drink every time he says white women.
And then you get hammered.
Yeah, you are out like a light. But yeah, nice. Parker, thank you again so much for doing this. We look so forward to seeing you and everyone else on May 1st. And if anything pops up between now and then, just holler at us, man. We look forward to seeing you.
All right, man. This was fun. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely,
see you guys soon.
Thank you.
Peace.
Take it easy, y'all. We love y'all. Have a good night.
Running a business is hard in many ways, especially when it comes to tech. Not only do you have to maintain your business, but you've also got to maintain a network for you and your clients, keeping yourselves and your customers connected to the world. And who knows who can hack into your information, accessing sensitive files? And what do these wires even do? You don't have to do this alone. Call the experts at Professional Computer Services Incorporated. They've got master technicians that can help you navigate the wild world of networking. They can set up security against cyber attacks. And they'll be there to tell you that it's actually not a networking issue. We're being attacked by a foreign entity, and it's the end of the world. Time to bug out. IT doesn't have to be scary. Call Professional Computer Services Incorporated.
Does your office feel like you're working out of a shoebox? Does your workspace feel as cramped as a sardine can? Are you juggling work and clutter, literally? You don't have to take drastic measures. With Nabholz Properties, space is no longer an issue. Check out this beautiful office space they have available right now in the Argenta Arts District in downtown North Little Rock. Imagine hosting meetings in a room that inspires. Now imagine enjoying the view while closing your next big deal. At Nabholz Properties, success has room to stretch out. Visit nabprop.com today.